Guests on Keel heard via the Jack Spring Electric Keel Newsmaker hotline. Joining us for a little bit is political analyst and pretty smart guy, Dr. Jeff Sadow. Hey, Dr. Jeff, welcome back to Keel. How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I am looking at your article from a couple of days ago, hayride.com, headline, Results Reconfirm Louisiana as a Banana Republic. And let me read what you wrote. Referring to the weekend election, Louisiana proved it's not yet ready for prime time because, as the state's junior senator, Kennedy, suggested, too many Louisianans are happy with crappy. What do you mean by that? Why do we embrace our banana republic status?
Well, the reason why I use the term banana republic is you look at countries in Central America, Mexico, and the like, which, as we know by seeing the headlines over the last few years, have been exporting a lot of people to the U.S. To the point that the President Donald Trump administration thinks it's a crisis and has been engaging in measures to stem and deal with that particular flow. Well, in some ways, Louisiana is the same in that it's major export. You might think agriculture, gas, something like that. It's people. Louisiana has lost 75,000 residents in the last 4 years during the term of Governor John Bel Edwards because simply there's no opportunity. There's not enough opportunity in the state for them. And so largely the more productive people leave the state, and it's other places that benefit from the fruits of their labor, and we don't here in Louisiana. It's one of the reasons why we've had almost zero economic growth in the 4 years of Edwards' terms, hardly any job growth, and a falling unemployment rate, but falling mainly because all those productive people, left the state. So that's what I mean by being happy with crappy, that kind of performance, which you have a governor in any other red state in the country, and that guy never would have won re-election.
Why are we, or why is a majority? Why are a majority of Louisianans happy with crappy? Are they not paying attention? Who in that equation has it wrong?
Well, the thing about Louisiana's political culture, there's always been more emphasis, disproportionate emphasis, on the people actually running for office and who they are and who their connections, the people they deal with, and the like, as opposed to when making decisions and voting on things like issues and ideology. So you can have people out there, as we've had for decades, with this subpar performance decade after decade, and the same kind of people keep getting reelected because they project certain qualities and they make certain relationships with other elites or other influential people in politics, and that's a basis on which people vote that they place more emphasis on in this state than they do in other states.
You call him Governor Niet, saying he'll be Governor Niet for the next 4 years and won't be able to accomplish anything. Seriously, nothing?
Well, it kind of depends on Edwards. He pretty much in the past 4 years, he got a little bit of his agenda through. The legislature queued him up Medicaid expansion. He pulled the trigger on that one. Some things, the margins, increasing taxes, obviously spending more. So it's a matter of budgets. But in terms of major policy issues, other than changes to the criminal justice system, he didn't do anything. And the reason why is because principally the House of Representatives and its conservative leadership wouldn't go along with these much more liberal policy prescriptions that Edwards was for. So with this current round of elections, you've seen even more Republican, more conservative legislature elected. They're likely to be sending him bills this time, again reflecting those kinds of policy preferences. And unless he moderates and changes his mind, and it's not his way or the highway anymore, as has been for the last 4 years, then he's just going to be vetoing a bunch of bills, and there'll be a tug of war over how much money to spend, and that'll be about it. Nothing else is of any consequence is going to get done.
Dr. Jeff, let's talk about the Shreveport bond issue. 3 propositions all failed by a variety of margins. Why did those, in your opinion, did those ever have a chance? Were they doomed from the get-go? What do you think?
They had a chance until the middle of last week when Mayor Perkins issued a famous, infamous now, I guess, memo saying that Shreveport first responders should stand down in trying to assist Bossier City with President Trump's visit over there. At that point, I think they all 3 were going to pass. The city had done a fairly decent marketing job. But the thing is, and this began months ago, this began from even before day one, Mayor Adrian Perkins taking office. Perkins has, through several incidences, he's left a lot of doubt in terms of transparency and whether he does the things that he says he's going to do. And that memo, which he ended up having to backtrack on because of public pressure and maybe some prodding about federal law from some other people, is just fed that narrative that there's a transparency problem here and he's not to be trusted. And that's what was decisive. That you look at some of the margins, 50 votes to a couple thousand, and that was probably it right there. It had a chance. It had a better than 50-50 chance, all 3 of them before the middle of the week. But that came out, and that pretty much swung it right there.
What does the mayor, Jeff? What does the mayor have to do to win people back if he wants to come back to us next year?
Next term he's got or next year for another bond election.
Yeah,
there's got to be a lot of there has to be transparency. He has to do what he says he's going to do. There can't be any more surprises coming out here about we're now paying more for less insurance, and we're trying to get the public to pay for inauguration events and so on and so forth. You have to stop having these surprises. And quite frankly, this last incident was entirely self-inflicted. I mean, all he had to do was not send out that memo. Even if he was for ideological reasons or whatever against sending that kind of assistance, you just go along with it. You're on the eve of this this big nearly $200 million worth of bonds up for grabs, and you go out and you do something that you should have known that was going to have a negative impact.
As the phrase goes, pardon me, timing is everything, right?
Yeah. Again, I don't see what was such a big imperative to him to have to issue that kind of memo and take that kind of action at that particular time. It just wasn't that important. Again, even if you were ideologically opposed to the president and just didn't want the symbolism of giving city resources to assist him in any way.